And just like that, let's see here. So what had happened was, I was driving out here in the middle of nowhere, and I think I lost my signal. I don't know. I can't tell if I lost my signal or if I need to give Elon a call on this thing freezing up on me. I'm not sure, honestly. But in any case, I will give everyone a minute to get back in here. And I will make a note. I will make a note that there's serious dangers to this drive home situation because there might not be service where I'm driving, or I might hit a dead zone. I don't know. I think that was, honestly, I think that was just Twitter, X just freezing up. But I could be wrong on that. Don't get mad at Elon about it. I'm not sure. But anyways, I'll give everybody a couple minutes. We have about 100 people in here watching that, so I'll give them a minute to get back in. They may have lost interest just watching me blabber on, you know what I mean? Certainly very possible. I got this new thing to do this so that I could be safe. It's one of these here, IoT. I think it's called an IoT. It's actually pretty decent. If I had to complain about anything, it would be that it doesn't swivel. It'll go like landscape, right? But it doesn't, like, I don't know, you can't like move it over without moving the whole damn arm. Anyways, I don't know where I was at. What were we talking about? We were talking about why we bought Epic Labor and what I'm going to do with it. Okay, the staffing business as a whole, Epic Labor aside. The last couple of years, there have been a lot of players get put out of business. Okay, now I think that there's been also some consolidation. I know there are a lot of acquisitions. Okay, so there are a lot of little small operators that got, there's a huge job site right there. A lot of small players that got bought up by larger companies. So there's been some consolidation, which, you know, for the industry is actually pretty good because I think we were a little saturated for a while there. I mean, coming out of COVID, it was great. Like 2020, 21 were not great, but 22 was great because everybody had all this excess money. They're spending on labor, you know, bill rates are going up, pay rates are going up. It's great. Margins are growing up. But then 23, all that changed. And the bill rates weren't like, the bill rates actually came down. Like industry-wide, if you look at it, bill rates actually came down. Orders came down. But the pay rates did not come down with it. So margins got squeezed. So a lot of small operators, they got squeezed out. So you've had a lot of consolidation. But if you look at the business right now, at least the on-demand portion, which is what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in traditional staffing. I'm not interested in, you know, long-term placements. That's not my bag, baby. I want the on-demand stuff. Here's why. It's hard. It's hard to do. Okay, it is a rough, tough business. That's why there's not that many large companies that do it. You've got people ready, okay, used to be labor ready. It's not even that anymore. I don't know what it is now. It's like some perverted version of, you know, like a deco and labor ready had a baby or something. I don't know. Two different models, tried to mix them together and make basically like it looks like an IT company, and it's failing miserably. I mean, you look at their numbers. You know, I don't have to talk bad about them. They do it themselves. Look at their numbers. All right, you've got them. On the on-demand side, there's really only one other large publicly traded competitor. There are a couple other that are not public. LaborMax is one of them. They're actually a pretty big outfit, but their founder died. Mike, he passed away. His wife and his ex-wife, they're like fighting over everything. I don't really know all the inside on that. That's the limit of what I know. That there's some turmoil, you know, at the upper rankings. And then you've got a few small regional players. I say small, you know, they've got 10 to 20 locations. That's not really small, but relative to people ready, it's small. And then you got HQI, which is I actually got a text from Brandon. He said, busy day, something, something, something. So Brandon is the president he was the president of Labor Smart, but he will be coming over as the president of Epic Labor. We'll be talking about him in, you know, further updates. You know, so you've got HQI. They're a large outfit, but they're a franchise company. So you can buy, they're publicly traded. You can buy stock in their company. They're actually the guys who run that. I've met a few of them. They're actually pretty sharp. okay? And they got to, you know, I don't want to like endorse a competitor, because I'm certainly not doing that. But in terms from an investment standpoint, if you're going to pick between True Blue and HQI, pick HQI. They're really well-run operation. They're really smart guys, and they understand the labor business. They understand the on-demand labor business. The guys that people really have no clue about any of that, and they have the most to lose, which is why I feel that a new player that's focusing on the day labor, the on-demand staffing portion, has the most to gain. And that is why now, and that is why Epic Labor, and that is why I'm at Invesco. Okay, my time commitment, really, once you take all the crypto stuff out, so we got rid of all that, so there's no more liquidity pools, there's no more NFTs, so I have, you know, which is where I was spending most of my time researching. I mean, I consume so much information, you know, just doing research on protocols and things like that. You know, all of that time is now, you know, vacant, okay? Those time slots are now vacant. And so I'm free to put that time in other places that will benefit the co-owners of Metavesco. This is an industry that I know well. It's an industry where I've had outsized success previously. That's no guarantee of the future. In fact, while we're talking about the future, since Metavesco is publicly traded, anything that I say here should be and could be considered a forward-looking statement. You should check our filings at otcmarkets.com under ticker MVCO for risk factors, disclosures, financials about the company. Now, here's my legal disclosure. So, Epic Labor, we've got 2 offices. What can we build it to, and how fast do we want to build it? That's really the question. That's the question that the team is being asked. And I've got some, I'm not going to give you the numbers, but I've got some numbers in my head of where I think we can be and where I want us to be. In the short term, within the next, I'm going to call it 8 months, I want to open four new locations. So we've got 2 right now, Nashville, Knoxville. I want to do 4 more. Interesting enough, Augusta, Georgia popped up on the list as a potential new store location. It wasn't on the list prior to the hurricane that rolled through. Why is it on the list now? Well, because the hurricane came through and it destroyed like so much stuff. So I'm from that area, so I have family and friends there, and there's so much, like, they don't have power still. There's so much devastation there, and when you have that kind of devastation, it's not wind came through and blew everything down. It's flood damage, okay? And when you have a lot of flood damage, the amount of work, it's called putback work, okay? So you come in, you demo everything, and then you have to do the putback. So you're talking about a ton of labor to do the demo, and then you're talking about a ton of labor to do the putback. This is going to take months, if not years, to rebuild all that. All right. Now, I think in the conversation I had this morning when I was talking to Brandon was, you know, Augusta wasn't even on our list to open for next year. I mean, it's on the list, but for next year when we laid out branches, cities we want to go open, Augusta was not on the list. It went from not being on the list to this morning, basically it's at the top of the list. So we actually put out an ad this morning for branch manager for Augusta, Georgia. So there's that. And not only that, I actually hired or contracted a recruiter to help fill that position plus the others. And now that I think about it, I don't have to tell you what cities, because I actually posted it this morning. Hey, we're looking for managers in these cities, so anybody can kind of do, you know, 2 + 2 there and figure that out. So yeah, so we are going to hire managers. The plan was to open 4 offices next year. I will say that there's a slight possibility that at least one of those, Augusta, could be this year, and most likely will be this year. From what I hear, they won't have power there, like en masse, until at least October 5th. So we got 5 days. There's no point in going down there trying to do anything until that's done. You need power restored and then emergency services to do their thing. Like, nobody's thinking about coming in and doing reconstruction right now. But once I think power is restored and the emergency part of it is taken care of through, you know, FEMA or whoever's there, I think I'll be making a trip down there, and I'll live stream, of course, but I'll be making a trip down there to check out that market and see what's what and look for the opportunities that might be there. When you talk about rebuilding a whole ass town, I mean, that's a lot of labor, okay? And yeah, there are competitors there that are going to do the same thing. And it's like, here's the thing. When it comes to the on-demand staffing, at least, we're all fishing from the same pool, okay? So when you go after a client, like ABC Construction, if you're a competitor, you've got the same workers that anybody else who's in that business has. So we're all fishing from the same pond. But I happen to be a better fisherman than most people, at least in the labor business. And I know how to build teams that perform at a high level. So I'm very confident if we go set up shop there, we'll own that market. Like, historically, everywhere that I've expanded into, at least after 12 months, we owned it. We owned the market after 12 months. It takes 6 to 9 months to get profitable when you open up a new branch. And then after a year, you're looking at, on the low end, 120K net. That's the goal, the internal goal. 120K net operating income per office. That's year after a full 12-month cycle. There are always anomalies. One time I opened a branch in Pensacola, Florida. We did $30,000 in week 1 in sales, which is fantastic. But it was fueled by a restoration project. And once that restoration project ended, the revenue just kind of tanked and it never really came back. You can point at those situations where I've had failure, and it always came down to one thing, and that's hiring the right people. If you hire the right people and you get rid of the wrong people quickly when you realize you've hired the wrong person, like hire slow, fire fast, that's the whole name of this game, is hiring the right people to run an office. So something I know very well. I've done it a whole bunch, not by myself, obviously, by building a great team around me. And we're going to do it again. At least that's, this is one of those forward-looking statements. We're going to do it again. Yeah, so just want to see if there's any other major items I want to talk about here. We don't want to talk about that yet. Yeah. That's really it, I guess. I kind of gave you the rundown, what we're doing, why we're doing it. Yeah, and I can't tell if I have comments today, so I would ask for comments, but since I got froze up and I restarted, I think you have to manually check off the comments every time, to accept comments. It was kind of weird, but I'm excited about what we're doing. Again, I'm going to try to do these every couple of days as we build this thing. Not only putting out, kind of a couple times a week update like this, and I'm going to call it just the drive home with Ryan. If we're doing it, I'm just going to stick to that. Almost like a mini podcast, right? But I'll do that, and then we'll be putting out updates on social media, on Twitter, X. It's my preferred method. I encourage everyone, if you are a shareholder or co-owner, make sure you're following at Metavesco and at Epic Labor, which we now have control of course. Not a lot of activity there, but there will be as we build this thing out. It's gonna be a lot of fun growing this. I did this I've done this a few times. Nothing as big as what we did with Labor Smart, obviously. That was just a behemoth that we built, and just a crazy, breakneck speed, man. 0 to 25 million annual run rate in 36 months. And that started the exact same way. We started with 2 offices, Marietta and Nashville. And we grew that thing insanely fast, man. But we did get lucky early on with some really great hires. And I don't want to say I'm following that same model, because it's not quite the same model, but it's certainly reminiscent of it. And hopefully, the experience I have now will allow me to avoid some pitfalls. I certainly have no interest or need, for that matter, in any type of toxic convertible debt. Again, if I'd known then what I know now, that situation probably would have ended differently. But we're going to build, I think we're going to build a better company here. We're going to build something that can generate revenue, and we're going to do it, as side by side as we can with the shareholders. It's going to be a lot of fun. And alongside our other, divisions, I plan to continue to scale up the Bitcoin mining. Notwithstanding a huge drop in Bitcoin or some crazy, government, crackdown on it or something. I think we'll continue to invest in that business. And like I said, we're looking at something else I did spend a lot of time on today, which was a little frustrating. We've got a ton of water that we decided, the MAGA water. If you go to drinkmaga.com, get you some. We've got a ton of water that I want to donate to some of these areas that are impacted by the hurricane. And so I've been I've been trying to call some contacts that were forwarded to me, like, hey, these people are you know, they've got a points of distribution. You can send them a few pallets, and you can't reach them. They've got no cell service. I don't know how to reach the people that we want to, you know, donate to. I mean, I'm ready to ship this stuff out. I mean, I already had the distribution center give me a quote how much would it cost me to send a pallet to North Carolina, and you know, it's not too crazy, but we've already got the product, you know, and yeah, we're gonna take a loss on it, but look, sometimes there's things that are a little more important, and this is one of them. So you know, if you have any contacts for any of these people, please, you know, shoot me a DM or at me, you know, on X, and you know, we'll try to get that matched up. But I did finally talk to someone in Morgan County, North Carolina, and they gave me a facility there, so we're going to ship them 3 pallets of water. I sent the order over to our fulfillment center a little while ago, and we'll get that going. Really interested in talking to somebody up in Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. From what I hear, so we have this office in Knoxville. The guy there says that roads are closed, not passable, no power, no anything. So I'd really like to figure out how we could get them some water. I'm willing to send them whatever they need, however many, you know, cases or pallets they need. So if you have any contacts, please let me know. Also, if you have any questions, again, you know, it's hands-free. I'm trying to drive, not be reckless. But if you have questions, you know, shoot me a DM, or, you know, just make a comment at me on Twitter, and I'll do my best to come back to it and give you an update, answer any questions I can. I think that's pretty much going to do it for now. I appreciate you guys hopping in here for your ride home, and hopefully see you again, you know, maybe tomorrow. If I have something to talk about, I'm going to hop on here every afternoon and talk about it on my way home. Otherwise, have a kick-ass evening. I'll see you on the other side.